Well, good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Morris here, and a very warm welcome to this year's St. John Fisher Sports Awards, which I'm really happy to be hosting digitally as the teacher who leads PE at school. Now, no parents particularly, you're probably thinking, gosh, Ant and Dec have really let themselves go during lockdown, but they were busy today, unfortunately, so we'll have to make do with me as host. But I have come dressed in the kit of champions just to get us in the sporting feel. So we take this opportunity each year around this time just to recognise all of the sporting achievements of our children, particularly for those who play and train each week as part of our football team, of our netball team and dance club members. But we also celebrate the achievements of all of our children who have participated in school events across the year. And whilst we won't be able to do this in the usual way this year, I thought it was still so important to acknowledge the effort and the commitment that our children have put in this year. Now, each one of our members of our school football, netball and dance teams has represented the school with dedication, teamwork and integrity on each occasion this year. They've achieved so much together, even in this very short season. And I know that I speak for all of the teachers when I say just how proud we are of each of you. It's been such a joy to see this year. You've worked so hard, put your many gifts and talents to good use, and been excellent role models to our budding athletes in lower year groups, who absolutely look up to you as an example as they begin to pursue their sporting interests. And so before we start with our awards, I want to say a big well done to each and every one of you, both members of our teams, but also of any of the other many children who are watching today who have participated in our rugby, swimming, rowing, gymnastics, athletics, boccia, or any of the other events that we've sent a team to this year. You've all been stars, and I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back just before we get started. So we are going to start our time together, our awards, just as we always do, with a short time of prayer. And so I'm going to light a candle here, just as we gather as our school family. And we'll start by making the sign of the cross. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And so we start in prayer today, gathering to thank God for the gift of teamwork and for the many gifts and talents that He's given freely to all of the children and adults that we celebrate and thank during this time. I'm just going to start by reading from St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians, which I think is all about that kind of teamwork. And it says, Christ is like a single body, which has many parts, but is still one body, even though it's made up of different parts. And in the same way, all of us, whether Jews or Gentiles, whether slaves or free, have been baptized into the one body by the same Spirit, and we all have been given the one Spirit to drink. For the body itself is not made up of only one part, but of many parts. If the foot were to say, because I'm not a hand, I don't belong to the body, that would not keep it from being a part of the body. And if the ear were to say, because I'm not an eye, I don't belong to the body, that would not keep it from being a part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, how could it hear? And if it were only an ear, how could it smell? As it is, however, God put every different part into the body just as He wanted it to be. There would not be a body if it were only one part. As it is, there are many parts, but one body. All of you are Christ's body, and each one of you is a part of it. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Now, during that reading, St. Paul is teaching the people of Corinth all about how Jesus calls us to live together as his body, the church. He tells us that whilst we're all different, like the hand, ear and eye that St. Paul speaks of, we're blessed with a diverse range of gifts, talents and skills, and each person has a unique and irreplaceable job to do, a special role to play, just like the parts of our own body, which he compares it to. I think it's a lovely thought for us this afternoon as we come together to celebrate the really special and irreplaceable role that each of you has had within the teams that you've represented. And without you and without what you've offered this year, even though it can be easy to forget, your team would not have achieved as much as it has. Indeed, some of what St. Paul teaches will allow for Christ's body, which is the church and the early church in Corinth, to thrive, is exactly the same as what allows us to achieve our best when we're playing in our sports teams. We need the unity or togetherness that St. Paul describes. We know things quickly break down in our teams when we put our own desires or individual success before that of the team. Things don't work and it becomes a mess. And instead, we know that we perform best as a team when we're working towards the same goal and we have the same achievement. You'll have heard it said that teamwork makes the dream work. And it's true, and St. Paul even knew that 2,000 years ago. We also need the humility that St. Paul describes, to admit that we can't achieve everything individually, but that as a team, where we recognise what our friends and our other teammates can offer, we can achieve even more than we think is possible. Now, a massive well done to each of you, because what has been described by St. Paul, that team spirit of the early church, has been so evident in the way that you've played and participated together this year. You've been resilient when things have been tough. You've given words of encouragement to others. For the respect that you've shown to our opponents during fixtures. For all of those things, a massive well done. And whether you receive an award today or not, know that you've done tremendously this year and should be very pleased of everything that you've achieved. And so with that in mind, I'd like to invite you children just to close your eyes for a quiet moment of prayer. Just say a quiet prayer of thanks for the gifts and talents that you've been blessed with. Maybe for those of your fellow team members too. And for the opportunity that we've had to put those to such great use this year. So we'll gather all of those prayers and offer them to our Father in heaven, who gave us those many gifts and talents, as we pray in Our Father together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. So we'll finish our short time of prayer as we began our awards together today by making the sign of the cross. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from each of our coaches about who's won awards this year. But I thought I'd just hand over to Mr. Fraser, who is the ant to my deck, and our PE and sports apprentice, to introduce the next part of our awards together today.
Thanks, Mr. Morris. I'd like to say a massive well done to all the children in taking part and representing the school throughout the year. All the children that I've taken to events have been fantastic. They've shown great sportsmanship, togetherness and determination, especially the football team, who have been amazing and played some great matches throughout the year. They put a lot of hard work and passion, whether it's playing in the playground or training sessions or in matches, and they're always playing with a smile on their face, which is always great to see. So I'd like to say another massive well done, and here's a short clip to remind you on some of our achievements.
My favourite sporting memory of the year was winning the swimming gala for the third time in a row, because it's really nice to see everyone working as a team and cheering each other on, and then eventually winning. I would also like to say a big thank you to Mrs. Pelchat for giving up her free time to coach the swimming team, and also the dance team who did well this year.
A memory about my swimming gala in year 6 when we went to the regional gala and we won our area.
My favourite sports memory was when we won the swimming contest 3 times in a row.
Hello, my name is Eve and this is my first ever year playing netball at St John Fisher. One of my favourite memories was my first match against St Patrick, and I scored my first ever goal. I also loved playing in my room. I also had a very tough match against St Elizabeth's, which we drew. I would like to also thank Miss Toomey and Miss Hope, as they have supported me along the way and teach me better to and be better netball players.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fraser, for that lovely reminder of some of the events that our children have participated in this year, and also to Neve, to John Joe, to David, and to Chloe for sharing some of their sporting highlights this year. They're still very, very proud of that swimming gala, amazing achievement of winning 3 years in a row, and of course our swimming team have been rewarded with their shields and medals a little bit earlier on in this year around the time of the gala. But I'd also like to echo what our children have said, which is a word of thanks to all of our staff members who lead football teams and netball and dance teams. So to Mr. Wilson and to Mr. Palmer, our football coaches, to Miss Hall, Mrs. Hall and Mrs. Toomey, our netball coaches, and to Mrs. Palchat, who leads our dance squad so expertly. But also to Mr. Sullivan, who is a volunteer at school who transports our children regularly to sporting events and gives up his time so freely. So a really big thank you on behalf of all of the children to all of those staff members. So I'm going to start by passing over to Mrs. Palchat, who's going to talk through the Dance Squad Awards. If you haven't already opened your certificates, Georgia, if you can hold off, you'll be invited by your coach, team coach, to open your certificates at the appropriate time. But if you've opened them already, don't worry too much. So over to Mrs. Palchat for the Dance Squad Award.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Now I have the great pleasure of sharing St John Fisher's End of Year Dance Awards. However, before I do, I'd like to start by saying thank you to every dancer and every dancer's family for their involvement in Dance Club this year. I've had the pleasure of working with such a lovely group of children this year, and although I know that our time was cut short and that's really unfortunate, and I am sad that we didn't get to perform in Oxford or the other performances that we had planned for the summer term, I think we still have a lot to be grateful for. I think performances that we did get to do were amazing, and I know I'm grateful for all the hard work and dedication that every single dancer put in, and for all of the support that the families gave in the lead up to the many performances that we did get to do. We certainly still had a great year performing, and you all grew as dancers, and we had lots of laughs and memories that I hope you'll always remember. So when I thought about looking back on this year to select who I would have for my dance awards this year, it certainly was a really difficult job. And that's a lovely place to be in, because it just evidences how amazing everyone within the group is. You lot always make me smile and have worked so hard. But when I think about these awards, I always try to consider everything. I think about commitment, progress, dance technique, effort in lessons and rehearsals throughout the year. And I'd like to start by talking about my Year 4 dancers. So in Year 4, we have Lexi, Victoria, Ruby, Emily, Poppy, Abigail and Danny, who were all new to Dance Club this year and our youngest members, but all of them have worked so hard. They really stepped up to the plate, learning some really difficult choreography, and it was so hard for them to remember such a long routine and so many different transitions for the performance at the Great Big Dance Off, but they pulled it off, and as expected they did a really, really amazing job. However, the star I've chosen for my Year 4 is somebody who has shown the most progress this year. She's been very enthusiastic and put her all into every single session, and as a result I've seen her timing improve, her technique develop, and her ability to remember much longer sequences of choreography, which is quite difficult to do when it's tricky choreography that you're learning as well. So for her enthusiastic and hard-working approach, and for always doing it with a smile on her face, my Year 4 star for this year is Ruby. Well done, Ruby. And Year 4, you can all now open your envelopes, and in your one, Ruby, there will be a little reward for you. So secondly, we have Year 5, and in this group I have Scarlett, Ricky, Katie, Ava, Jessica, Julia, Aoife, Layla, Lois, Gracie May and Daisy. And my Year 5 dancers are a really talented group of dancers. They've taken a much more active role in leading some of the choreography this year, and once again they've worked hard just like my Year 4s. However, my Year 5 star is somebody who I've chosen due to their focused attitude and development in their dance technique, which is actually over 2 years. This individual is quite quiet in sessions, but always concentrates really hard on nailing her choreography and timing, and through her really, really focused attitude and concentration, she's developed into such a lovely little dancer, and I hope that she realises that, because sometimes she doesn't have as much confidence as she should have, and this person is Layla. Well done, Layla. And in Year 5, you can also all open your envelopes now. And then finally, I will move on to my lovely Year 6s. So in Year 6, I have Amelia, Chloe, Emily, Jummy, Neve, Eleanor, Jonjo, Millie, Reese, Lowen, Evie and Maria. And lots of people in this group have been a member of Dance Club for 3 years now, and I have to say, as Year 6 and the oldest members of our dance club, they certainly have led the group by example. They've all been very committed, and they've worked so hard to improve both their own performance by taking on feedback actively and practicing really, really carefully, but also help to guide and support our younger dancers, or just perhaps our new dancers this year, so that we were able to perform as one big team, which I feel was very evident in the regional rounds in Birmingham. Everyone was a great support to one another, not just on the stage if people had nerves, but also in the rehearsals, sorting out costumes, hair. It was a lovely day and everyone worked so well together, and I think Year 6 were a really big part of that. However, back to my stars. So as it's Year 6, I've been allowed to choose 3 stars this year, so I'm actually very lucky with this year group. But it was still a very difficult decision. So my first star is somebody who is, I would say, is a bit of a choreography queen. She always works really hard when learning new choreography, and I can always rely on this young lady to know the choreography next session. She'll always go home and practice and come back the following week with an improved version of her performance from the previous week. So for always working so hard to nail the choreography, I have firstly chosen Chloe. Well done, Chloe. My second star is somebody who has excellent technique, timing and stage presence, and in fact I don't have to be looking at a stage to see this. This young lady will bring all of those things to every session, and my eye will always be drawn to her in a rehearsal because she'll be ensuring all of her movements look nice and polished, and she always does it with her head held high and a smile on her face. So this person is Lowen. Well done, Lowen. Now finally, my third star. This is somebody who has shown a great deal of growth in dance. They've improved their coordination, timing and accuracy, and this person has not always found the choreography easy, but has been very committed and determined this year, and as a result progressed massively and should be very proud of the promise they have shown. So my final star for Year 6 is Neve. But well done to all of my Year 6s and in fact everyone in Dance Club. Year 6, you can all open your envelopes now. So it's time to move on to the Netball Awards, but before we do, I just wanted to say a final thank you to all of my dancers. You've been great fun to teach this year, and you all really are shining stars in my eyes. Thank you for working so hard, and I hope that my Year 6s will carry on performing in some way in secondary school, and I'm looking forward to what next year of Dance Club will bring. I hope to see you all again soon, but bye for now.
Well done to all of the Dance Squad members and our award winners. And I was really fortunate and lucky to get to come in and see your entry for the Great Big Dance Off this year, and I was blown away. Such talent and such teamwork. So really, really well done on what you've achieved this year, Dance Squad. So we are now going to pass over to Mrs. Hall and Mrs. Toomey for our Netball Awards. And just as we do, netballers, you can now open your certificates if you haven't already.
Okay, well thank you Mr. Morris. Right, well done to all of our players. So Caitlin, David, Lowen, AJ, Valerie, Neve and Jummy. Your determination, resilience, dedication and of course amazing talent meant we never lost a game, and before lockdown we were top of the league. So in our eyes, you are the champions. We're very proud of each and every one of you, so thank you just for being you. Okay, right, for awards time.
Over to our first award. So this person's been coming to training, come rain, come shine. They never complain. They always try their best, and during a game, when the going gets tough, they never give up. Showing resilience with an added smile on their face. So the trophy for the most positive attitude is Lowen.
Well done, Lowen.
Okay, the next award. Okay, so this person wasn't actually noticed at first until at training they showed some great potential, didn't they? And when we asked them to try and perform different moves and different throws and what have you, they did all the time without hesitation. Hence why they joined the team and was a great asset to the game. The game improved without doubt, hence the most improved player is Jummy!
Well done, Jimmy.
Well done. So over to you, Mrs. Hall.
Okay,
with the
thank
next
you,
one.
Mrs. Toomey. Right, so this one, the team members, so you guys yourselves, you were asked to choose who you thought the best player was, who stood out the whole season. And to be fair, it's no surprise to us, is it?
Absolutely.
That you all chose AJ! Well done, AJ. Super.
Fantastic.
Okay. And finally, this was a tough award,
This is
wasn't
the
it?
hardest one
This is
to
a
do.
hard one to do because, to be fair, everybody deserves every award that's going, really. You're
Yeah.
all shone like stars, you're brilliant. But this person, they stood out all season for their amazing skills, their fighting spirit, and just pure sheer grit.
Yeah.
Okay. Every position they've held, they've smashed it, haven't they? The whole time. Okay. They never gave up. Without them, we may not have achieved the success we have this year.
They were a key player.
They were definitely up there. So the coach's player is Valerie.
Well done, Valerie. Well done, everybody. We're proud of every single one of you. Well done, all of you. So now, back to you, Mr. Morris.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Hall and Mrs. Toomey. You really both are the netball dream team and have got an excellent squad this year. And just to echo that really massive well done on being top of the league netballers when unfortunately to finish a little bit earlier on this year. But you're definitely champions in our eyes. So really congratulations to our award winners and to everybody. So we're just going to now pass over to Mr. Wilson and to Mr. Palmer, who are our football coaches, who are going to give out our football awards this year. And you can now, footballers, if you haven't already, open your certificates.
Right, so I'd like to say thank you, Mr. Morris, for passing over to me to talk about this fantastic football team. I'd like to thank all the players that have attended training and the matches for the school this year. You've been a credit to me and Mr. Palmer, you've been a credit to yourself, and you've been a massive credit to the school. I'd like to name a couple of the players, just go for a quick list. If I miss anyone out, I'm sorry, but you've all genuinely been a pleasure to coach. So I want you all to give yourself a pat on the back when you hear your name. So we've got Louis, Chidibem, Caitlin, Logan, Callum Clark, Harry, David, Leon, James, AJ, Guy and Jake. Every single one of you have been fantastic. You've represented the school really well. You've been a pleasure to coach, and those of you in year 6, I wish you all the best moving forward, and I hope you continue to play football because we've got some very special players. Before lockdown, we were top of the Game On League again, which we did win last year, and we were doing quite well in the Catholic League. So I was looking forward to going to the rally and seeing where we finished in the Game On League, as I think we could have won the title again. So give yourselves a pat on the back for winning every game in them leagues and them games. I'm going to pass you over to Mr. Palmer now. He's going to start the awards. And then he'll pass it back to me, and I'll finish the awards off and give you back to Mr. Morris. So over to you, Mr. Palmer.
Cheers, Luke. Thank you for the introduction. Firstly, I just want to say a few things that I've been very impressed with everyone from year 5 and 6 with football this year. When it comes to training on a Friday, seeing a big turnout, nearly 30 to 40 children every week is a brilliant achievement for the school itself, and seeing different players develop new skills and to continue with their own development to achieve bigger things. So well done. Unfortunately, it got cut short, which is a shame, but year 6 is hopefully, as I've seen you grow from year 4 to year 6 training wise, you continue what you're doing in secondary school, in Saturday and Sunday league football, and continue to do well. So let's move on to the awards. The first award I'm going to do is Most Improved Player. Now, I say Most Improved Player with this person who has won the award. I say from the starting point of training to the cut short end of the season, this person has been able to develop slowly into the team, but then when they got into the team, cemented their position because they were able to read the game. They knew how to pass the ball or pass where they needed to at a certain point. Very calm on the ball, very calm without the ball, and quite honestly, a joy to train. This person listens, and that's what you want as a coach, as a player, to listen and actually take things on board, but also as well implement what they need to do. And the person that has won Most Improved Player goes to Caitlin. So Caitlin, well done. Next is the Players Player Award. One of the awards really that any player wants to have. You get awards that you want, but players player is the main thing that you would like to win, because it's your peers saying thank you, and also as well they're seeing what you bring to the team. So this player, very similar to Caitlin, very calm, very quiet, but when it comes to football, gives themselves 120% for the team, dedicated, and so polite to the fact that they lead by example. And I'm very proud and privileged to have been able to coach this player, and then for them to win Players Player is a massive achievement, so well done to this player. The award goes to Callum. So well done, Callum. Again, so happy that I've been able to train all of you guys. I'm going to pass it back on to Luke. He's going to continue with the awards. Good luck in secondary school. Obviously, you haven't been able to say goodbye to us properly, but hopefully when we're all back into a schooling environment, we'll get to see you guys soon, saying hello. But all the best.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. I'd just like to touch on them awards. So, Caitlin, most improved player. You've been fantastic to coach, fantastic when you play and you read the game so well. And from the minute you come into the team, you made the team 10 times better. So that is fully deserved. You've been a pleasure. And Callum, players player. It just goes to show you that all the other players appreciate everything you do for the team and how much of a special player you are. So used to, well done. The next award is for attitude. So this player comes to every single training session. They give their 100% every single training session. When they play their games, they give 100%. They listen to everything that myself and Mr. Palmer say to them. Any instructions they listen to, and they genuinely give their all in everything they do. Not only that, their attitude is spot on. They're always willing to help, always willing to listen, always willing to learn. So for this season, the Attitude Award goes to Logan. Well done, mate. You've been fantastic all season. Attitude-wise has been spot on. Next is the Top Goal Scorer Award. So this was between two players. Two very, very good players as well, to be fair. So we had one that just beat the other by a couple of goals. So in second place, unfortunately, was David. So well done, David. It was good to see you getting forward from midfield, scoring goals, scoring a few screamers as well. So well done, mate. And I hope to see you continue playing football throughout your secondary school, as you've got great ability and a great ability to develop into a really good player. So the one that just won it was our striker, and that was Harry. Harry and his wonderful left foot. So well done, mate. That's fully deserved for you. I hope you continue to play football, continue scoring goals, and continue to listen and develop throughout your secondary school as well. And see you develop in the future. Finally, it was the Coaches Player Award. So me and Mr. Palmer had a lot of conversation about this. It was a difficult one. So we've got loads of fantastic players. We've got players with loads of ability. We've got players with brilliant attitudes. We've got players who have got both. We've got literally every type of player in the team, and it could have went to a few of yours. We give it to this player for the reasons being their ability is brilliant, their attitude is brilliant, they never moan, they give their all for the team in every single game, they give their all in training sessions, they've never once been out of line, and they lead their team by example in everything they do. And this player is fully deserved, goes to Callum Clark. So well done, Callum. You fully deserve that, and I hope to see you continue playing football, as you're a very special player and you see passes in particular above your age range, and it would be good to see you develop into a top class little player. So I'd like to say to all the Year 6s, I wish you good luck moving into secondary school. You've been a pleasure, and I'm sure you will all develop into fantastic footballers, and I hope you all keep the hunger for sports, and in particular football. And if I don't see you before, I hope to see you all in the future, and I wish you all good luck. So back over to you, Mr. Morris.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wilson and Mr. Palmer, and a really big well done to all of our footballers for your achievement this season. I've been able to go to lots of games with you and seen you compete with sportsmanship and with such skill on each occasion. So those awards are thoroughly deserved, but well done to every member of our football team. So we're almost coming to the end of our awards, our time of awarding sport and achievement together. And before I pass over to Mrs. Williams, who's got a final award and will also close our presentation, I just want to say a big well done to each of you, a big congratulations to our award winners, and just to remind you again of what I was saying at the beginning about using those gifts and talents to the best of your ability, and about each person within any team being so significant and crucial, which means that every person who's been recognised today has been so crucial in the success of their team. So just to say thank you, I hope to see you all very soon, and thank you for tuning in to our presentation this afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. And children, it's been wonderful to hear about and celebrate your many successes and achievements this year. But now I have the privilege of presenting this year's Head Teacher Award for outstanding contribution to sport. So here goes. This pupil has represented the school at football, netball and swimming over the last couple of years, as well as many other sporting events. This pupil is very talented and also an excellent team player who has represented our school with great enthusiasm and integrity on every occasion. I am very proud to present this year's Head Teacher Sporting Award to David Conzolo. Congratulations, David. This award is well deserved. Finally, I would like to say a big thank you to all of you children for representing our school this year, last year and over the years of your primary school age. You have all shone in different ways and at different times, and we are extremely proud of you. So thank you for all you've done. Just one thing to remember, God has given you many gifts and talents, so use them wisely. I have no doubt that you will continue to shine. Congratulations to all of you, and well done to Team SJF. Goodbye and God bless.